Hey, what's going on, y'all? Back with another one, back with another Contractualism 2. Contractualism 2. Let me get set up real quick. Yeah, we're gonna talk about was it number 10? That would be the negative. Ah shit. Y'all please forgive me. I'm dealing with technical difficulties. Let's see right here. Yeah, the negative desert exercise excuse and mitigation. So we're gonna deal with that. And shortly, I got to see what's going on here. So I got to get this on the way because I don't want to be late. Y'all just bear with me. Yeah, because it's a lot of shit in the background I got to solve. But all right, give me a few minutes and I'll be right back. Oh, sorry about that. Took me a couple minutes. Had so much distractions going on. Let's see right quick. Okay, we got time. We got time. All right, all right, all right. So we talked about what we talked about contractualism, and then we're gonna get into this right quick. I'm just gonna start trying to mountain this off. All right. All right. Now, now we're gonna do this right quick. So many goddamn distractions. Hate my fucking life sometimes. All right. Damn it. Can't do shit up in this place. Oh, I'm gonna have to get a studio in the future. I ain't got time for this bullshit. Okay. Number 10. The negative and the desert excuse. Oh, this is getting on my fucking nerves. It's getting on my goddamn nerves. This is why I need a studio bad. I won't have this issue. This is getting on my goddamn nerves. Dealing with fucking niggas, man. I need a goddamn studio bad. That's the only issue. If I had a studio, I wouldn't have this problem. I'm so tired of this shit. And I'm really am. I'm too old for this shit. I really fucking am. I'm about to break someone's fucking face off. I'm gonna calm down. I fucking hate niggas, man. Period. It's the last time I'm doing this shit. Okay, negative desert excuse mitigation. Okay, what follows from the negative retrofuturism, which seems to be very weak claim. I believe that has an interesting implications apart from the conclusion that an innocent person does not deserve to be punished. If someone commits a crime due to the factors of beyond her control, heart, or if she has not had a fair or adequate opportunity to avoid committing it, that's scandalon. We mentioned the last week of contractualism. Okay, she does not deserve the conviction or punishment at all. One precondition for committing a serious crime and deserving the corresponding punishment, it is that one had control or fair, adequate opportunity to avoid committing the crime. If thorough, no fault of one's own, one does not have such control or does not have a fair or adequate opportunity to avoid committing to the offense, but one has the legal excuse to charge and consequently does not deserve the conviction, let alone the punishment. But the condition of having control or having fair or adequate opportunity to avoid is an important safeguard to us as citizens. And it protects us from being charged with a serious offense, just as a requirement that then the terms be the means to read in order for a serious offense to be committed. It's an important safeguard. In fact, they are the same safeguard, but this is for the following reason: to have control over my action is a prescript for being the agent of my action. If through no fault of my own, I do not have control of an act, I am not an act. I'm not. Okay, excuse me. I am not responsible for it, but it's very significant scenes, and it's not my action. But this is so if someone was involuntarily intoxicated while committing the deplorable act. For instance, but the important requirement is that the intoxication was caused involuntarily. If a deplorable act was committed as a result, and a person who's committed it really was not the agent, and hence should not be held responsible for what is done through him. Okay, so we're gonna get to this part. Yeah, I get so tired of this shit. I'm gonna stay calm for the rest of the night. Okay, negative retrofuturism holds that an innocent person, that those who have a legal excuse do not deserve to be punished. Sometimes, however, whether one has control over one's action or whether one has fair or inadequate opportunity to avoid running afoul of the law, it's not clear cut, but the matter of degree when one's control is one partial or one's opportunity to avoid is diminished. One has grounds for mitigation in sentence. Thus, if the defendant attacked the victim as a result of provocation, he would have grounds for mitigation of sentence, and because through no fault of his own, his controlled opportunity to avoid was diminished, even though he was still had some control over his act or had some opportunity to avoid committing. In this later case, we should invoke negative pro tanto retributivism in the view that is the extended that through no fault of one's own, one did not have a fair, adequate opportunity to avoid committing the offense, and then to the extent one does not deserve the blame or punishment, and the view can explain why an offender can have grounds in the mitigation one did not have the fair or adequate opportunity to avoid committing to a defense. Note that the Scandalon's view on one who commits the deplorable acts deserve the blame, even if she does not have a fair and adequate opportunity. And avoid if someone had no control over the becoming and the sort of person, and she has the manifestation through the acts, and says we and nevertheless, and still blame her for because on his view in the desert base and its need not to be deserved. I do not, however, feel fully agree in Scandalon view here, at least in case whether someone commits a deplorable act because of the physical disorder and such as schizophrenia or even autism. It seems wrong to criticize her, the person, even though it may be permissible or even right to criticize her or insofar as the fact is deplorable. That's the last part. So that's when we got to the negative desert excuse and mitigation. Okay, that's what they use. You know, sometimes they make excuses when they use the term autism, schizophrenia. I already know what those two are. They're two different things. Yeah, people use that, and you see this, and white people use this a lot. We see this a lot all the time. So we'll get to the pickpocket just a minute, an example, and see how much time I got while I was absent, because it's dead. It's kind of dead when I stepped away. So, I got time. Yeah, and it just shows you that this is a commonly thing that we see a lot. And one thing I can say about it, it's just one thing for sure, is that you see this a lot in crime and things like that. And one thing I can for sure and tell you that this happens a lot. So when you talk about this stuff long term, you know, the mitigation. So we're just reading this part, and we're in that for of foreseeable future, like when they talk about laws and stuff like that. You know, this is based off Contractuatarianism, social contracts. Contractualism is a subversion of this. It explains the basis of, you know, just criminality and things like that. So I'm not really angered by it or anything. It's just some things when I look at this type of ideology and things like that, it breaks down these guys like Rawls, John Rawls. We talked about Scandalon and all this stuff. And then we talked about the 9 things, the negative desert. We talked about basically a little bit of everything. So when we get to the pickpocket, that's number 11, number 12 in conclusion, and it's like it explains. So we covered 9 things. We covered the negative desert, the limits of general deterrence. If you watch part 1, we covered the thought, punishment for the sake of general deterrence. We covered treating someone as a means versus treating someone as mere means. Non-consequentialism and Rawls and Scandalon, of course, 2 different ideologies. One was contractualism, and one deals with liberalism / the liberal mindset of contractuatarianism. 2 different subgenres that they have. So, and then it gives you the introduction and everything. So, yeah, I gave you the link the last time. We're going to read this. And this is from, I believe, Taylor's something article, you know, online.org or something like that, or .com or something like that. So, and we're going to get to that conclusion. So we're going to get to the pickpocket example revisit. Okay, let me return to the pickpocket example. See, we read it last week. Okay, let's read what it says. Argued that the pure deterrence theory cannot avoid the consequence that the court should punish the convict pickpocket very harshly. If doing so, it can maximize the deterrence and effect to the collective well-being. Yet, punishing a pickpocket with a long sentence as clearly too harsh and hence unjustified. As I argued, a contractualist should endorse negative retrofutivism. I would like to show that the theory of negative desert can explain why we should neither punish an innocent person nor punish people vicariously, even if doing so can save many people's lives. We should not do so because an innocent person does not deserve a guilty conviction, let alone condemnation or punishment. Other theorists might argue that we should not punish an innocent person because such policies, were they to become public, would undermine the rule of law. And the reasoning, however, does not do justice to the moral and phenomenally of why do we think it's wrong to punish an innocent person, or are thinking that the punishing an innocent person is wrong and is very direct and hence quite different from the indirect reasoning and derived from the consideration of consequences and further consequences based on reasoning and leads too much to chance, and because it is possible that punishing an innocent person could bring about the best overall consequences. Moreover, and I believe that only way to avoid the conclusion that we should punish the pickpocket harshly is to insist that he does not deserve a long sentence. How can we make the argument? No doubt, the pickpocket intended to steal money from tourists. The connection between such thefts and destabilizing the whole economy is, however, highly contingent and indeed unforeseeable. Thus, the pickpocket's contribution to such bad consequence was beyond his control. Even though he had the opportunity to avoid committing the theft, he did not have the opportunity to limit it highly contingent and unseeable consequences. Right? Like, we're gonna get to this point right here. So, nor did it have the opportunity to know in advance that unlike consequences would unfold. Therefore, he should not be held accountable for the unseeable bad consequences at the stage of sentencing, even though meting out overall consequences. Doing so is unjustified, and because the court would be punished him consequences he would not foresee, and hence such punishment would be undeserved. Okay. So that's what you got right here. So, conclusion. We get into the conclusion, right? Scandalonian contractualism provides a meta ethical framework that supports a non-consequentialism. More importantly, it entails that the contractualist thesis that any act of permissible if and only if it's justifiable to everyone affected by it. This thesis allows us to place limits or sentencing based on deterrence as well as on the type of a person who can be punished. I argued that we should accept the notion of deterrence as well as those of fairness and negative desert as integral parts of a theory of punishment. Further, a plausible theory should also have room for the expressivist idea of censure. Contrary to Murphy's view that punishing a guilty criminal for the sake of a general deterrence would be using the criminal as a mere means, I have argued that this is not necessarily so, because people would have reason to consist to the punishment for the sake of the general deterrence. If society is nearly just, considerations of deterrence must be constrained by contractualist concern, however, so that the innocent people will not be the frame in order not to be punished too harshly, even if doing so would maximize the deterrence effect. I further argued that the theory of punishment should be sensitive to the contextual facts, e.g., whether there is a need to deterrence, and that the Scandalonian contractualism is sensitive to these facts. Pure retrofuturism, by its very nature, cannot take contextual facts into an account. Although I do not hold positive retributivism, the theory that the criminal deserves to be punished, that the court should be punishing him according to his desert. I accept blame retributivism and the expressive views that the court should condemn the criminal according to this desert. More importantly, and I embrace the negative retributivism that the theory that an innocent person does not deserve any punishment and at all. And I argue that we should accept negative retribution, even though we do not accept positive retributivism, because accepting negative retribution in no way commits us to accepting positive retributivism. Furthermore, I argue for negative pro pronto. Yeah, pro tanto retributivism, the view that in the context is there that extended that through no fault of one's own. One could not control one's act. One do not have any fair or adequate opportunities to avoid committing the deplorable act. Then to extend does not deserve conviction or punishment. Yeah, or punishment. Okay. Hold on for a second. All right. Let me go back into it. Avoid committing deplorable act, does not deserve punishment, negative retribution, except the case of defendant who has legal excuse whether the negative is pro tanto. Retributions explain why a convicted offender can sometimes have grounds for mitigation, but the idea of negative desert underlines that the various versions of negative retributivism defended in this article. Finally, the idea of negative desert who helps to explain why the court is not justified to punish an offender such as a pickpocket very heavily in order to secure the maximal deterrent effect, because such a harsh sentence is under deserved. For this reason, a court that metes out the excessively harsh punishment, or that the punishes vicariously in order to deter, would be using the offender as a mere means, like we mentioned last week. The framework of Scandalonian contractualism allows us to give significance to the deterrence without giving up our intuitions that we should not punish offenders too heavily or mete out vicariously punishment. Retributivism is said to be able to account for these institutions. For these intuitions. I hope to have shown that the Scandalonian contractualism can account for these intuitions without the problems faced by pure retributivism. So this is it. 12 things in the article of about the contractualism and punishment in the abstract version. It's by the TaylorFrancisOnline.com. So in case y'all was wondering, I read the rest in part 1, but I can give y'all this again. It's no biggie because I was distracted in the background, so I had to put this out because sometimes a little distractions going. What's going on, Degenerate? What's going on, Leticia? Bruce, what's going on? Appreciate y'all for coming. And this is one of the things that I talk about mainly, and I see this a lot, because contractualism is one of the things that I was talking about, the social contract and things like that nature. So you got to understand something here. Like when we talk about the contract, the social contract and things like that, we're really basing this on how you're going to produce anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really worried about anything. So that's the stuff that people don't understand, that you get this stuff down pat and it gets right into it. So we see it a lot. So, and I'm not really tripping on this point. And is it me, or just people just have their way of looking at it? So, when we talk about laws and criminality of it, it's just a different system that we dealt with in view. And we deal with this a lot. So yeah, it's been hard on me talking about this subject, and I'm doing this part two. Now we will talk about political world systems Wednesday. That's gonna be a stretchy stream. So same time, it's just I'm not gonna go in depth on it. I'm gonna make sure everything is right. And people are just gonna have to chill, man. Like, I'll get this stream down pat in so many words. So, and that's how I'm gonna look at it. And I'm not really big on talking about contractualism as much, but this is one of the subjects, kind of like contractarianism when I talked about it, and that's one of my political world systems that we talked about. So we're going to talk about the other ones next week in one big subject matter. And the reason I don't talk about them as subject matters of the library is because I feel like it's no need. Because once you have your chance of talking about it, you understand what's going on. And the reason I chose this topic, I felt like, this is needed. This is very, very needed, because then you have opportunities to see where people stand at and things like that. So in that nature, it's of the beast. So I'm not really skeptical of anything. So that's the thing about here nor there. So when you see stuff like that, you just know what time it is. And I'm not saying anything about it. We talk about this in various times. So, and that's a piece I dropped for y'all. So I don't see what this back button is, what it goes to. Okay, there's no tab. Okay. So yeah, that's the article that I was reading. On see something else when we talk about contractualism in modern day. I'll say actualism. I'll say in modern day. In modern day. Type that in there. So we got to say, what's an example of contractuatarianism? And I got it right here. Quick reference: contractuatarian approach to problems of ethics asks what solution could be agreed upon by contracting parties, starting from certain idealized positions. For example, no ignorance, no inequalities of power enabling one party to force unjust solutions upon another. No malice ambitions. That's how they look at it. As a group thing, it's a community thing. So how's the social contract used today? It says United States Constitution is often cited as an explicit example of part of America's social contract. It sets out that the government can and cannot do. People who choose to live in America agree to be governed by the moral and political obligations to outline in the Constitution social contract. That's what they say, but some people don't live like that. Social contracts theory. So, you got this on the way. I'm gonna drop this down, and I done gave y'all that link. So we're gonna be here for salute. Scar on TC Killer. And yeah, man, I'm not gonna play the YouTube video and shit like that. So social contract theory, and I'm just gonna put this up here for a minute. Share screen, and it's just like you get this down pat. I know people's trying to celebrate 420. I don't really care for that shit. They celebrate every year. It was kind of a disaster for the last 2 years, but people still was high. They had to get their shit. Okay, social contract theory. Social contract theory says that people live together in a society in accordance with an agreement that establishes moral and political rules of behavior. But some people believe that if we live in the accordance to a social contract, we can live morally by our own chance and not because of a divine and people requires it. Over the centuries, the philosophers as far back as Socrates have tried to describe the ideal social contract and to explain how existing social contracts have evolved. Philosopher Stuart Ratchets, Stuart Rachels or something like that. Yeah, Stuart Rachel suggests that immorally it's a set of the rules of governing behavior that the national people accept under the conditions that others accept them to. Social contracts can be explicit, such as laws, or implicit in such a raising one's hand a class to speak. The U.S. Constitution often cited as an explicit example of the part of America's social contract. It sets out what government can and cannot do. Well, like we just read in the search. People who choose to live in America and agree to govern by the moral political obligations outlined in the Constitution's social contract. Indeed, regardless of whether the social contracts as an explicit and implicit, they provide a valuable framework for harmony in society. Yeah. So that's how they look at it. But that just shows you in the search. And that's what I was talking about in contractualism in modern day. And they try to say what's in the medium, and I'll see what date. Oh, this is 3 years ago when they talked about it. We talked about the full article and Sophiist or something like that. Why is contractualism is a thing? So, people talk about it, and most students, yeah, it has a good read. So, yeah, we're going to go into it. It's like a little thing. So it's called medium.com. And, we'll get this in a minute. And yeah, this is some things that you look for in the searches, and you see this a lot, and you feel like that's the thing that you see and so forth. So what I see in so many times, people just going to be who they are. So that's not here or there. So yeah, and I'm just trying to see what's going on over here and over there. So, and yeah, man, I'm just trying to keep my head above water over here. So, and I'm just bumfuzzled right now. All this bullshit that I got to deal with, family fucking up shit. But it is what it is. I got to deal with it. I'm just like people. I got problems like everybody else. I'll stay on this bitch forever. I just want to do my content. I ain't got time to fuck around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to produce some shit if I stay alive in this motherfucker. They say your channel's already dead. No, it ain't dead. I got to use some of this shit. That's how you stick around. All this cancellation bullshit. But anyways, I'm done rambling. Let's get to the point. Okay, by Stephen Casper. That's the Casper. Yeah, he's got a little thing. So, okay, he said most students who go through public education in the United States end up in some government American history or Euro history class, which takes a unit to talk about the Enlightenment or something similar. There, they are presented the thoughts of Enlightenment thinkers on liberal society. Here we go. See, I remember that growing up. We all did. And I broke out of this shit too. I was too conservative later on because I wasn't a true liberal in mind. I was fucked up when I was young. It depends how you was raised. So the liberal society's ass backwards anyway. That's how they think. But they're the biggest hypocrites in the world in the educational system. We already know that. Usually, which much reference to the philosophy of the American or French revolutions. And that's very true. That's why the educational system's fucked up. Ain't nobody listening to that shit. And it seems to me that the Enlightenment idea are usually presented without a serious foiled, almost as if there were settled matters. Of course, education and popular thought in a society will reflect some of the values of that defined it. But it's a shame that, at least by in my impression, public education teaches certain enlightenment ideas almost as facts instead of frameworks. Exactly. They don't look at the whole framework. And a lot of times they own some bullshit. I dealt with that when I was younger. Most of that shit is garbage. You get out of this shit, you know, it's the opposite, really. The old progressive is today's conservative. Isn't it likely that someone has come up with a better political ideas than 200 plus year old enlightenment ones? But the last time that truly revolutionary philosophies and systems of government were established in the world, arguably during the American and Russian Revolution. Uh-oh, here we go. Remember the days spent in school talking about Locke, Hobbes, and Rezoreau, Voltaire, Kant, and Wollstonecraft, etc. They helped to lay the foundation of the current popular ideas in the United States about human nature, individual rights, freedoms, and democracy. Yeah, that bullshit. I remember they threw that shit out the window when Bush got in there, but I ain't gonna get into that. In particular, I want to touch on some of the things that they say about said about the social contract theory, contractualism, and contractuatarianism. Okay, quick review. Contractualist moral political theory says that freely and fairly entered contracts are morally binding, and that they are form a framework for moral legitimate social structures. As a commonly described as all humans about government live in a state of nature in which people violate in each other all of the time in life and nasty, brutish, and short. But when governments and social structures are established, it allows groups of people to reap of the benefits of the cooperation and non-antagonism by cohering around a common and set of the stable of rules and norms. And because of the rules and the norms are the keystone of society itself, well, it's all benefits, and following them morally required and disobeying them is punishable. Yeah, it's punishable. All right. So, you know, it is what it is. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna read the next part, and that's what it is, man. Like, you know, you do what you do. And that's how it is. So I'm not really worried about it. And I think it's pretty I think okay, sounds plausible. Okay, my fault. Sounds plausible. And I agree that the contractualism is an interesting framework for understanding states. I don't think it's a particularly useful one, and it doesn't lead to functional understanding, but at least interesting political, though it might, even though without contractualism, we can't have a society, which is presumably very bad, but not so fast. We don't need a social contract for a state unless we outright define all states are being inherently based on some sort of contract. But that's tautology, manner mongering. I think it's actually pretty audacious to say that there is some contract making up that the fabric of every state, or at least every legitimate one, and contractualists typically hold the belief that for a contract to be binding, it needs to be freely and informally agreed to by all parties. That is not the case of all with any contract in any state. When people benefit from the state service or securities, it is seen as agreement to the state. There's a social contract, but who choose people to have. Taking advantage of their things is the passive, and it can be done by infants. And currently, we couldn't say that the social contract is freely and fairly agreed to do so, and then by contractualist logic. In the social contracts, is the real world seems dubious. I think carefully, a contractualist could maybe could maybe. Okay. Yeah, could maybe. Yeah, could maybe contrive their theory into reconciliation with these problems, but the problems don't stop there. I think it can be pretty easily shown that is a fundamentally that the wrong set of principles r- rally behind. Let's just say that I really have a good friend with them whom I make a micro social contract with. Let's just say this contract obligates us to the newest kill, never kill each other. But this seems like a sort of a weird thing to do. But to any contractualist, this is a perfectly fine. Now, let's say that from some reason I'm placed into the situation which I am shown two buttons to press, but the first of which will kill my friend, and the second will kill a billion other people. In another place, whom I have no contracts with. Contractualism would tell us to kill the billion to honor the contract and save my friend. But could we really be so bold as to say that this is a morally obligatory? Obligatory. Yeah. Okay, and quick note, please do not give me flack for how this argument seems invalid because the example is unrealistic. If needed, one could come up with some analogous situation that could more plausible happen, but that is far from the point. I'm testing the principles here, and if it's not fair game to exploit as a way of testing principles, then a morality isn't very helpful. It isn't very useful. That would be saying that a scientific theory can be proven false by disproving testable predictions that it makes. Of course, we shouldn't see contractualism as an argument that killing the billion in a fine is fine. Okay, it is fine, but we should see this example instead as a illustration of how off base of contractualism is. The former would make us appeal to some arbitrary sanctity of agreements, and the later would be what the latter would have us appeal to the actual life, something that we probably are much more justified to value. But the bottom line is that all else equals in the form of point of view and the attributes of a fundamental value to people's welfare. It would be better to live in a world where I kill one person instead of a billion. So contractualism can't be the right moral framework. That's a fair argument right there. No lies, and it just reads. Okay. Now let me take this down one level of abstraction. Just it would be wrong to push the button that kill billions because of a contract. It's wrong to use social contract theory to justify bad laws or deny the moral status of people in the out group. But this happens all the time. This is facts. That's true. Ever ever heard cries for the rule of law or chants for America first? Yep, I've had years ago. Yep, several situations. We do this all the time in this country. The policies and attitudes that follow are cause immoral law, denied and inhumane mitigation policies. Nationalism, that's very true. We do this all the time. We see this worldwide historically. Herein lies another repugnancies of contractualism. That is, doesn't care about anyone's welfare, just notions of contractually constructed rules. It is also starkly conservative, preserving existing power structures. Doesn't it seem kind of strange that anyone has an urge to codify contracts into moral theory? But does it seem less strange if we consider the contractualism conveniently supports the existing power structures in capitalism? None of this to say that the contracts doesn't matter. They can be instrumentally useful in violating. They can often cause harm. But if not the contracts themselves, we should be careful about. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. And contractuals is just another sophistical conservative distraction from the actual welfare-based morality. Yeah, this is a good one right here. This is by medium.com as well. And that's just one to point out. And it's one of the cons of this theory. And sometimes people use it all the time. What you see in the modern world, the cancel culture and things like that. So, I'm going to drop this and so y'all can read whatever. And I'm just going to put this right here. And I'm just like, all right, we good on that. So the thing about it is, like, when we look at things like this, and sophist or sophistication of it. So yeah, we see this a lot, man. That's how basically the social contract has to get down to it. So we see this all the time. So yeah, you know, I'm not worried about it. I'm not even tripping. So, I'm just gonna get this out the way and just say, sup, whatever, and all that other stuff. So yeah. And that's just what it is. So how much time I got? Oh, I got 52 minutes. Yeah, it's gonna be an hour. It's gonna be an hour because I already know it's gonna be an hour in this thing. So oh damn. All right. Y'all give me 1 second. Let me charge this up. I'm gonna go on mute. All right. All right. Back at it again. So I know contractualism is one thing, and some people just look at it, be like, okay. And that's another example right there. So we get into it. So the modern social contract tradition, Link Springer. I want to see what this is talking about. And we talked about this before. And yeah, it's a book on Link Springer, abstract. So it's not really much there. So I'm trying to find something modern. And that's what he talks about, scandalones and things like that. I just want to put this out here, academia and shit like that. But you hear this a lot with individuals like these so-called conservatives. They say that and talk about moral theories and things like that. That's one of the political world systems. And I think, did I talk about utilitarianism and the difference? Like, we talked about this a lot, but that's a long read. I'm not reading that shit. Anything got that is, you can forget that shit. So this is part two. It's a lot of files going on. So you gotta forgive me for certain things. But yeah, you see this a lot. And I'm just doing this stream and just keep it what it is. So I'm not really tripping about things like that. So yeah, I'm gonna get into it. So I'm not really tripping off of it. And yeah, when you understand contractualism, that's how it gets down. Yeah. And then you see this a lot. But you see this a lot. And I think, the social contract, one thing I was trying to find another link to the one that's modern. So it is what it is. So moral contractualist, moral motivation, and practical reason. Damn. They give me these long. Oh, they got this. They got this really down pat. This is a woo. This is classic right here. Yeah, you can't hear nothing in the background. Good. So public health reset through contractualism. Uh-oh. 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 We got some public health. Uh-oh. We got some. It's a long read. Obligatory. We talking about public health. It's got C19. So, and it says ethics can be contingent on political landscape and leading to the several operational hurdles, especially during the global health emergency. Several scholars have pointed out that liberal decision making has prevented public health institutions from achieving their goals. Thus, the need for substantive outlook on public health have never been stronger. First, this article highlights the ethical tensions and limitations of the presumptive approach to public health and that vaccination policies might produce in a liberal political landscape. Second, influenced by the works of Angus Dawson. This article emphasized the importance of substance and approach in public health, especially in post C virus era, or should I say the pandemic era. Last, it looks like those TM Scollins theory of contractual aids in a framing a substantive approach to the health policies design and the additive advantages of the theory. That's what they use. Ain't that some bullshit? I didn't know they used that too. Wow. Let's find a good read. I'm not gonna read this article on. Let y'all read the rest from the beginning because y'all know what this is. Let's read this part. Bridging what is what ought to be. Oh Lord, some bullshit. Okay, we're gonna read this part right here. Although contractualism presents a perspective that best suits a substantial approach to public health, it appears desirable only in theory. But there exists as a distinct, really outside of academia, politics, societal engagement, and governance reflects a different picture. This can be thought of as the gap between there is and the ought and the ought. We could envision and claim that the mandatory vaccinations policies ought to be implemented in a certain manner. However, it might not be. Okay. In her paper, Realizing Bioethics, Goals and Practice 10 Ways It Can Help and Ought, Mildred Z. Solomon provides several reasons for this disconnect. And the general theme is the importance of the empirical research. They need to find a balance between the normative assumptions and empirical evidence, and how how policymakers can use such evidence to fine tune the policy's design process. But the contractualism can prove especially useful to bridge the division between in his art and theories and the libertarian philosophy and utilitarian rests on a design based on the normative approach, but that values liberty and utility. And should guide the policymaking process. However, contractualism separates the list from these theories, since constructing principles and justifiable for all, the idea of reasonable rejection must rely on empirical evidence. An engagement between various stakeholders and recognizing that the plurality in values and help bridge and disconnect between the is and the ought. This is more important in the context of mandatory vaccination policy, since its requirement arises only if voluntary vaccination policies fail, knowing why vaccination rates are low and how better to reach hard immunity will be important empirical evidence that can fine tune policies. In re-enchanting democracy as a maid of governance and patsies and Healy in the acknowledgement, that is a struggle for political change, often focused on installing new policy designs. Healy provides a list of qualities to keep in mind when designing a moral or more people-centered policies initiative. But the first quality is recognizing the shared, diverse, and conflict political community where disrupted justify is a vital. Yeah. So it explains all, and it says conclusion societal change relies on justifiable goals and multitude of viewpoints as contractualist approach is best accommodates a multitude of views, what we owe each other moving forward. If pandemic type circumstances do disseminate within the constructs of our society, public policy should further consider contractualist approaches as healthy, inclusive means. Yeah, this is some people use contractualism for the health, the reset. They use that. Some people are contractualists, and you got some people who deal with the utilitarian concept. So it's a struggle, man. It's a struggle of ideas and things like that. And people just are going to be on what they're going to be on. So I'm not really tripping off of it or anything. So I'll give you all this link. And it's just like, it's like a reset. Yeah, it's an hour. Okay, good. So we're in the threshold. We're in the moneymaker. So yeah, I might, this is maybe an hour or 2 hours. We'll see. We'll see where this goes. But because I kind of got distracted in the beginning of the stream on the tail end. So ignore that problem. So that won't happen again. I'll make sure that won't happen again because I'll have something set up for next week. So Wednesdays is always my stream. So I think next week, it's going to be political world systems. I'm going to have to schedule that sometime. So I'm not worried about what's going on in that thesis. And I'm not going to just pick and choose what I'm going to listen to and whatever. I'm not one of those people. I listen to everything to balance it out, then I make my own decision. So, okay, so next week, yes, I got Sunday Madness. Okay. So I'm not going to do embracing the independent thinking series. Okay, so I'm good. I'll do political world systems and I'll do DNT number 6. Might do DNT number 6. Yeah, I'm gonna be busy, and then I'll come back next month. I'm gonna take a week off. Yeah, so I'll be back on the 8th of Mother's Day. Yeah, I'm gonna be a surprise. I'm gonna be gone that week. So yeah, I'm gonna be good. So that week is all good. So we're gonna see what this is going to, because I forgot this is the Taurus season has started. Okay. Oh, okay. The 20th. So yeah, this is gonna be a good week. This coming up Sunday, I'm gonna talk about various things. So but contractualism, it is what it is. I mean, it's not really, they got it in the Britannica and things like that. So it's basically like social contracts once again, and you get into it, you just see for what it is, and you be like, all right, and I just put the links down so y'all can read Is it a thing? They talked about it, or the journalist library, talks about the articles, the bioethics, the health aspect of it. I ain't even talked about that. I talked about the criminality part. That's right here. That's the TaylorFrancisOnline.com. And these are the ones I posted in the link. So it's part two, what I did from part one. So part one is one of the main things that I see that's wrong with this thing. But this theory has always been used, and some people try to understand it's not utilitarian as you think. I mean, economics and society of America is, yes, it's mainly due to certain practices. And some individuals say the military is utilitarian. I disagree. It's a little bit of it. It's the only time it's utilitarian when disasters comes, but it's not a utilitarian military. I don't believe that. Now, certain branches probably, but not all of them. No, they deal with some form of nihilism when they on that kill streak. When you have conservatives in the building, so basically you just got people just saying shit to be saying. So I'm not really tripping off of it. You know what I'm saying? In so many words. Yeah. But and that's what you have to have. When most people, they just want to be noticed and be seen. And you see this a lot. And that's how you look at with most people. So, and that's just the thing. And you notice a lot, and you feel it's kind of like unjust when people always say this all the time. So when you're dealing with contractualism, you deal with all types of people just saying anything. So I'm not saying that anybody can't get what they get. It's just what it is. Like in some point, what are you trying to pull? You know what I'm saying? Because most times people just look at it for what it is. So I'm not saying that anybody has had any. So yeah, it is what it is. So when you have these things in line with everything, you know what's going on. And I do this a lot, and I think some people just got to look at it for what it is. So yeah. And let's see here for a minute. Oh, let's see here for a minute. Let's see here for a minute. Okay. Let's see here for a minute. Okay. So I know people don't care for this like much, and that's okay because everybody's celebrating the day that they. This could be a dud because tomorrow's gonna be crazy. I got them shots for y'all. We're gonna talk about that shit, and we're gonna expound on it because it's a 5:30 thing Eastern. So I'm gonna get that in, and that's an hour long stream because I got to get that hour in, and then we're gonna talk about it. I gotta get my time in. So that's the thing about it. All right. All right. Fieldarchive.org. Let's see what they talking about. See this link talking about something. Oh man, it's one of those. Oh shit. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Oh man, it's one of those. Okay. Not doing no parts. Damn, these are small. Not reading that small ass shit. Yeah, it is what it is, but the complaints of risk and drone ethics and type something in. The fuck is that? The fuck is that? No, get out of here. Yeah, the fuck out of here. Do that shit. Want me to read that shit? Get the fuck out of here. Like, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? And then they're trying to give me that shit. Get out of here. Yeah, but that's all I got on it. You know, but it's just basically what it is. So when you talk about social contracts, like we read, and contractualism is one thing. So when you understand that the social contracts we deal with, you see it a lot. You got a bunch of liberals acting crazy, and you got semi-conservatives talk about it, but they don't talk about this subject a lot. And I think when you talk about social contract, it goes back to this, and it goes back to contractarianism and contractualists. So let me get to my philosophy thesis of that. And like we said before, like I said again, and it's a political philosophy, legitimized political authority, and the ethical theory concerning the origin or legitimate content of moral norms. That's all it is, and that's the introduction of it. And then we talk about social contract, and then the society. Then we talk about Epicureanism, talk about Plato versus Epicureanism. We talk about Stoicism versus that. Then later, Epicureanism turned into the Victorian, the modern day utilitarianism that you see today with Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill that created liberalism through that. So yeah, all these ideals came through these men. So that's what builds your American society, pretending they're conservative, they're not. But there is such thing as liberal conservatism. Liberal conservatism is what it is. That's what you have on the Democrat side. They're your modern day liberal conservatives, as they always been. They always been that. So that's basically what you have in so many spoken word. So when you have guys like that, they talk about their actual situations, their policies, and things like that. But a conservative of what you say on the Republican side is a liberal. He's not really conservative. There is such thing as a conservative liberal. Now he's conservative on economics. He comes out, he's a conservative on economics. Yeah, you conserve your money, right? But you are a liberal militarily. I said this a lot on conservatism part 4. I did 4 parts of that shit. 4 parts of that shit lets you know that I was knowing what I was talking about. I brought up the John Stewart. I didn't bring up John Stuart Mill, but I brought up Barry Goldwater. And that's the only person I brought up. And that whole session of that, we talked about actual conservatism in its proper form. Actually, 3 times, my fault. Excuse me, 3 times, not 4 times, 3 times. Now I can do a part 4, and that's it. First one was 3 hours. That was I think that was on a Saturday, on a Sunday. I believe it was on a Sunday or Saturday or something like that, Sunday afternoon. I was doing Sunday chills at the time. And then I did conservatism. That was on a Tuesday night, and that was 7 hours. The fuckery was there. But I did 5 hours of during the week of, it was a Tuesday night, like around this week. So this is a Wednesday night, but a Tuesday night when I did it, and I was just say, hey, this is what we was talking about. And then we spoke on it. So many words, people just want to be, hammered with it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing that you have to deal with long term, right? So when you have things like that, you look at things in a timely manner. So I'm not really surprised what's going on, and you hear these things, and then people just want to be seen and be monitored, right? So you have these things in a long term. So when you have that, it's just what it is. So, and that's what I'm looking at, And when you talk about social contracts all times, and basically when you talk about the modern day liberalism and things like that, you see people in these groups, these conservative groups, talking about it all the time, but don't understand that they're conservative liberals all day long. And I'm going back to those 3 streams, what I said, and I stand on those informations. I stand on the liberalism. I haven't done a liberalism stream. Do I want to do a part 3 of that stream? I think I should. I don't go in depth on liberalism. I really don't, because I don't have a book or anything, but I might have to look into it or source or whatever. And what liberalism is. I mean, it's different types. And we talk about liberalism 2, liberalism 1, and your liberalism, you see it in these so-called manosphere spaces, right? These incel spaces pretending they're conservative. They're actually liberal. They're overt liberals. That's gonna piss a lot of dudes off. And that's what you got. So the first one I did 11 hours. We had a discussion on that, and then the other one we did 3 hours. I might do a part 3. I don't know, and it's gonna be in the liberal library playlist. That's the two main things that people love to talk about. We'll break that down. And that is not a Wednesday stream. That could be any stream. That could be a Friday stream. It could be whatever, wherever y'all want to talk about it. But I only did it for 2 parts. Now, libertarianism, we're going to talk about libertarianism. I did 3 hours on that. So libertarianism is different. We can talk about that in this purest form. Say I did all of them. Now, political world systems, I did 21. I did fascism, totalitarianism, anarchism, egalitarianism. I did egalitarianism part 2, communitarianism, communitarianism 2. I did totalitarianism. I did capitalism, capitalism 2, contractuatarianism number 1. Did 2 hours, and I did the second one, and then we did contractualism 1 and 2, and that's it. So yeah, and I did the dollar conspiracy, when this convo is going to end. So that's basically what you have here. It's so many fucking words. So you got your moments. So all this stuff was recorded, and it's the study of world systems and ethics, talking about moral ethics and things like that, and philosophies, and and that's what I talk about. That's my main content. So we'll do a part 3 to the political world systems, and we're gonna get into socialism and communism as a totality, and we'll get into that discussion. I'll drop the link. It'll be that one of those Wednesdays, probably in an hour. Because we're gonna watch what part 2 was about. And I think that was 9 hours, and it got hectic and it turned into something else. But we talked about the actual politics and things like that. So I think, what was it? I was trying to, we was talking about something. Let me see. See, I brought up links in the beginning. So yeah, it was 9 hours. And we talked about actual systems and things. It was a long conversation. Let's talk about actual politics and things like that. So in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? But we'll fast forward some of the other shit. But yet again, so I'll let y'all hear the conversations though. I'm probably not as much. So we're gonna get into the part that we're gonna talk about in this context. So we're gonna get to that part, and then I think I'll do that next week. And we're gonna get to that point. And just let it play, and just like that. See what we're doing tonight. We're just doing our thing. So when we talk about the social contract, I think contractualism, we just keep it simple and plain. So, and I think a lot of times when people just don't want to deal with it in long-term effects, it gets like that sometimes. So you just got to bear with people all the time. So yeah. Yeah. And that's just thing I have to look at it. But yeah, we talk about the social contract. One thing I can say in so many words, you have to apply things like that. So I'm not saying that you don't have to do anything. You just do this all the time. So when I see people talk about it all the time, I feel like most people be like, okay, when we talked about the criminal aspects, I think the scandalon, and then we talked about the negative desert, and that just shows you how society's kind of ran in business and things like that. So business is going to show their hand 95% of the time. So you see this a lot. You be like thinking to yourself, what the fuck is they trying to do with these contracts? You see it in sports, you see it everywhere. You see it all types, man. Like all this shit matters to them. And they matter to them. And that's just the thing about it. And then when you get there, you understand its meaning. So when you deal with this stuff, it gets to that level. So that's just the thing that you see a lot around the world. So yeah, people make deals all the time. The military, of course, um, certain lawyers, and you see this a lot in business. You see this with auditors in the banks. They do deal with contracts every day, money, and they just have that shit. So yeah, I've yet to see individuals in the modern day 2.0, modern day manosphere talk about these things like that. See, they'll talk about conservatism, liberalism as a base, but they don't talk about other stuff. They don't even talk about libertarianism. They don't even talk about that. They just want to dance around and focus on the main shit, right and left bullshit politics. They don't talk about actual politics like I do. See, I actually do the research and actually do the sources, bring up the points, and I do this a lot. A lot of times people just get mad what I bring. It is what it is. So I see this a lot, you know what I'm saying? And I just don't like the fact that most people be on that bullshit. That is what it is. I just I don't even co-sign it half the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I just look at it for what it is. Some people just want to be picky and choose and who they want to listen. And I look at that and I say I don't give a fuck about those individuals either. But that's gonna be dealt with in another stream or another topic, for the end goal, V goal. So yeah. So yeah, a lot of people don't like when I say certain things. I struck people's nerve. I hit a nerve sometimes. A lot of times people do not like the political stuff. They don't like the stuff that I talk about, and I don't give a shit. That's too fucking bad. Always get replay value. That's why I don't really care much about what I'm saying now. Some people just need to just chill the fuck out with that bullshit. I mean, seriously, like I really don't give a fuck what people think. I really don't. Because I'm one of those people, I'm like, okay, I'll forget about you in years and you'll see I really don't give a fuck. I'm one of those people, man. Anybody can be an asshole on the internet. Just don't let me find out. I'm just saying, bro, like I really don't care. Because there's people hate me on some bullshit and I don't really care. And that's how you got to get down sometimes. Some people just can be much assholes to you. And I study this shit all the time. When we talk about politics in its proper form, most people just don't want to deal with you. And that's just how you have to deal with that, man. You can't get mad at somebody not liking you. That's just a requirement. And I see this a lot. And I think people just need to chill and relax. And more people just ain't gonna respect you long term. I realized that. I realized that when I started the political route. When I had the dark history streams, people watch, but they ain't gonna watch it all the time. I tell people all the time, I'm not gonna take this shit seriously. Like, see, people pick and choose what they have to listen to. See, when I talk about contractualism, the actual shit that you can work your way through, you got to stop bitching and complaining about other shit. People don't care, bro. Like, people don't care. Talk about women is not an asset. It's really not, because once you have certain things, you see this all the time. You know what I mean? I just don't get it. I don't get why men go crazy over some dumb shit. I really don't. Most of these men, they just losers at this point. And then they want to complain about society all the time. I'm like, fuck out of here, dude. Like, I'm not the one, bro. I'm not one of these people that's gonna hold your hand to the promised land and just and tell you what it is. I'm gonna tell you something that you ain't gonna like. I'm one of those people. I'll tell you what it is, what it ain't, and you just gonna have to deal with it, bro. Like, what more do you want? me to tell you. I'm not one of those people, man. Like I try. I'm done being nice. You know what I'm saying? I'm done being the nice guy. There's a reason. There's a reason why I do shit the way I do. You know, politics stuff. I'm not mad. It's just what it is. I mean, people gonna hate regardless. They're gonna hate regardless. That's just what it is. Let's just call a spade a spade. Let's call a spade a spade. And they think I'm gonna get mad forever. I'm not gonna get mad forever. For what? You know what I'm saying? Like I just really don't care, bro. Y'all do you. Y'all do yourself. And it's just like it goes to show you what time it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not really pissed at everything. And I'm not vising it no more. So yeah, man. Yeah. So you gotta see what you gotta have, man. Some people just gonna be like, okay, let me see right quick. Yeah, because y'all act like I give a shit. Like I really don't, man. I really don't. I really don't. All right. Back at it again. So that's just what I'm gonna get out of it. So when we talk about contractualism, John Locke, Thomas Hobbes, and the moral theory of contractarianism and claims moral norms, deontological. So it's just like I'll go through these ideologies, and I'm just like philosophies and things like that. I talk about it a little bit, and I'm just like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and we're just gonna keep it pushing, man. We're not really tripping on nothing, and that's just how people are going to get it. So it's pretty much easy to say that most people don't really care at this point because I think I made my points, I made my decisions, and people get distracted about the silliness. Then I know the election. Can we say the French election has some contract behind it or some contractual things to say? I fear not. So some people just gonna look at it very differently. You know, a lot of people ain't gonna stand you on the first take, and they just gonna be like, okay, this guy's acting crazy. He's not saying what he's saying in so many words. So yeah. Oh damn. Oh damn. Oh damn. Oh, the hate is real. Oh wow. Oh, the hate is real. Oh wow. Okay. I like that. Oh, the hate is real. Woo. Damn. That's fucked up. Hold on. Oh, the hate is real. Hold on for a minute. The hate is real. There we go. Yeah, man. The hate is real. Appreciate y'all with the hate. Damn. Woo wee. I must have pissed somebody off. I must have pissed some trolls off. Yeah, I must have pissed some trolls off. You know what it is. I must have pissed some trolls off. Oh well. Oh well. I must have pissed some trolls off. Damn. I must have pissed somebody off. That just motivated me. But you know what it is. I mean, I think people just don't like the fact that, you know, damn, I've been getting a lot of wow. But that's what's up. That's what's up. You know, I get that a lot. I get that a lot. And I think, you know, do a part two discussions and then it'll be read. So I'm done looking at that shit. Let's see right quick. Wait, man. Damn, already. Woo! I must have pissed some niggas off. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That ain't gonna stop me. So the Kantian, we're talking about Kant, the German philosopher. We're talking about this stuff right here. You know, I know people don't like the actual content, but that's cool. I know someone came through with the hate. You know, it's those trolls. It could be white trolls. You may never know. Because they probably hate what I'm saying. Like I give a fuck. So epistemology, they talk about his traditions and shit, rationalism, empiricism, Epicureanism, yeah, Epicureanism and rationalism and all that. See, we ain't even got to that. So let's look up. Man, he's got a lot of shit. Oh my God, his name is Kant, right? Okay, empiricism. Ugh, rationalist. Let's look up rationalist. Okay, viewing intellectual deductive reason as opposed sensory experience of any religious teaching. Yeah, rationalist. Yeah. Okay. So it gets into these parts. You know, I deal with the philosophy base. I just go basic, keep it simple. And it's just what it is, man. Like, you know, and I'm just like, wow, man, it's some wild shit. It's some wild shit. So I know people's gonna come at me sideways, but that's the whole point. So, you know, and I figured that was coming. It was coming. Yeah, I got some haters in there, and that's a good thing. I think that's, you know, I said they got rid of the dislike button. But that's cool. But you know, I'm doing something right. I'm doing something right because basically I already got enough fuel from yesterday. But today, you know, it's one of those nights they'd be like, "Oh, this nigga ain't talking about nothing." But yeah, contractualism, like I said, like I've read 12 of those on the Taylor Francis, and we talked about that last week. I mean, if you watch part one, you would understand that I was basically talking about how it's applied in modern day systems. So I would say this. Sometimes we see this all the time. And I think 95% of the time, people just want to come at us, you know, like with these laws and stuff like that. And then you see people talking about different things, and, you know, people got their opinions and all that stuff. So, you know, when you talk about the certain spaces, these black spaces, like these dudes, so-called manosphere, they always talk about politics, but don't actually do the research. And I used to listen on panels, but they never talk about this stuff. They never talk about this stuff. And they say they do, but they really don't. They don't actually do the research. Anybody can do what they do. And see, what I've noticed, I respect it at the end. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I'm not really tripping on contractualism and like that. But man, they went hard. I don't know what happened. I did good in part one. I guess part two, they said fuck me on that. But it is what it is. I don't give a shit. Because all it does, y'all do what you do. And that ain't gonna stop me. I've gotten worse. Trust me, I've gotten worse shit than that, and pre-records, and you name it. It's even worse than that. And I'm laughing. That's probably I broke a record on that. So I'm looking at my shit. So I know people are gonna get mad. They say, "Oh, he cares." You guys, I don't care about that shit. I'm laughing at the shit. All you did is put me in motion, boy. So we're gonna leave that be. Let's talk about Jean-Jacques Thoreau talking about contractuatarian ethics, and Thomas Hobbes, contractualism, Kantian. We talk about T.M. Scandalon, 1940. He's still alive, I believe. That's why he's still alive. So I might have to show you this philosophy basics again. So I think people are just going to have to look at so many terms of it. I know people are going to get high and all this stuff. This is their day to get high. So I guess people say he's not celebrating 420. I don't give a fuck. I don't even celebrate the day. I mean, y'all celebrate weed. I mean, good for you. Whoop de damn do. So right here, we talked about him today. The contractual is a variation of contractuatarianism, largely developed by T.M. Scandalon. In his book, he was talking about contractuatarian ethics, and based on the Kantian ideas. And so, in personal matter, that right and wrong as a matter whether we justify the action to other people. And it's kind of like Kantian or Kant. He supports utilitarianism too. That's why it's very similar a little bit. And he created his own version of it. It's called Kantianism, rivals utilitarianism. You know, moralist ideals, they compete with your age of enlightenment. I think he passed away in 1804, born in 1724. His name is Immanuel Kant, or Kantian, German philosopher, age of enlightenment. So it goes way back. You know, ethics, epistemology, metaphysics, and ethics. His masterful works, his critique of the pure reason and the critique of practical reason, achieved and complete paradigm shift, move philosophy beyond the debate between the rationalists and the empiricists, which have dominated the age of reason and the age of enlightenment, and indeed to combine those two apparently contradictory doctrines. Yep. And his ideas and origin of thought was informed almost every physical movement since. And he continues to challenge and influence philosophy in both analytic and contextual philosophy camps to this day. Yeah, and they still in camps to this day. And that's why you got the what you call it, contractualist thing. So when you talk about guys like this is very common. You know, you see this all the time worldwide. So I think a lot of people just want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really look at this stuff. And that's how I look at it. And yeah, man. Yeah, because I see this a lot, man. So, you know, it's just, yeah, it's an hour and 40 something. So yeah, we're gonna speak on contractualism. I'll give it like to the next hour, I'm gonna kill it because I ain't gonna stay in too long because I usually do these like 2 hours or more. But you know, but my main, you know, this is my main topic. So we're gonna talk about the philosophy aspects and things like that. So we're gonna stay with it. And man, it's wild, bro. And that's just what people are. That's what people are. So, you know. Yeah. So I'm back at it again. So like I said with the contractualism, and I know people are tired of me talking about it again and again. So it is what it is. The haters had to come out tonight, so I already knew what was coming, and I felt the stain. But hey, I'm still here. Shit, I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm gonna air these niggas out. So we're gonna get what we're gonna get because I know people ain't gonna like what I'm gonna say, but it's gonna be some shots tonight. So y'all gonna perpetuate some things, and that's how people feel. So, and we're just gonna go here for a minute. So I know the haters are here, and they did what they did, and I told you the haters are still here, man. Like they here to stay, man. Well, fuck them. The ones that gave me those dislikes, I'm gonna tell you that right now, because I don't care about none of what they say, and they just prove my point. What I'm gonna talk about Sunday, I'm gonna piss a lot of niggas off. That's what I'm here to do, man, because I really don't care. But shouts out to Ty City, man, addressing that issue, and niggas gonna get mad regardless, because I don't really give a fuck what they think. And you get like that to a point. Like, I see why social contracts exist. I see why people are going to get upset, and I know when I do this type of content, nobody's not gonna like the political stuff. And when I did the dark history shit, I still didn't get no respect on that. See, it ain't like what it was 2012. See, when you talk about this stuff, like philosophies and things like that, it gets very, very tricky. People are not going to like you long term talking about this, but it could be some people in the algorithm watching, because you don't know what type of people's watching your shit. And I have to be very, very careful, because I don't know if and they could be white folks. I don't give a shit what they say. Fuck them. They always going to hate on us, especially one that's black speaking. And that's usually the racism that you deal with on YouTube. You deal with it a lot. You don't get mad about it. You just deal with it. Just keep it pushing. And I think the first point, I think part one did very well. And I talked about the whole thing. So they was looking at it and they're like, all right, this is what it is. And I think people don't like to talk about contractualism, that I guess someone disliked that. But I will never do a part 3 on that. So that one, this didn't do so well. So that's good. That's all good. That lets me know I didn't say what I said on this one. And and I'll end this in another hour, but we're going to talk about the actual, what I thoughts of the philosophy and things like that. To me, it's just straightforward, man. It's just I think it's a sub version of contractarianism. It's just like Scandalon was one of those dudes. Probably he's still alive. He's probably one of those dudes that had this idea and he said, you know what? Let's put this in action. Let's have some thought. And he felt like, I'm gonna create this philosophy and it's sound and bass. That's the thing. Like, it's what you're saying. You have that knowledge. I'm just saying, bro, like that's just the thing of what you see all the time. So he was talking about the negative desert and all this other stuff. People reference him all the time, and then he was having his views and he was challenging John Rawls' views. So when you have philosophers of the same philosophy, they argue about different points in their verse. They use their stuff and then they just have their own versions of it. And it shows like it's like, I won't say word of God, but the word of the word of the messaging. So I see this a lot. And I think people just get upset a lot that if you talk about these subjects like that. But that's okay. Like I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit because people don't talk about these a lot. A lot of people say they do. They will get mad about it all the time. So, like I said, man, and that's why I don't really do a lot of political stuff like this. I do the research and I read. Nobody's not gonna support. Yeah, you got haters, but they can't read. All right. I mean, like I said, niggas don't read. Well, it ain't just that. They can read, but they stupid. They nut ride. They glorify echo chambers. I'm gonna get them this Sunday. I'm gonna piss them off this Sunday. I'm gonna trigger them, and I want to see something. So I don't think you can disable the shit. Can you disable the shit? I think you can, but but that's a whole nother story. I'm gonna disable certain things, but it's gonna be what it is. But that's all I have. So shouts out to everybody who came through. I think that's Psycho Candy, Leticia, Bruce, and Degenerate. Appreciate y'all coming through. Appreciate y'all coming through. TC Killer, known as T Church. Yeah, man. People get mad all the time, so I always accept it though. But but that means I'm back in the algorithm. So when you talk about politics and stuff, people get triggered. And the last time I didn't get this much flag, I think this was years ago. I think this is probably about 10 years ago. Yeah, that's a long time. So the shit they're doing, I'm laughing how stupid they are. I'm like, dude, I've had a lot of bad videos and they still get views. They're so stupid. People are so dumb. I've been here for years, and that's why this live stream shit's going to die in the future. I'm telling you that right now. And pre-recording is not the same either. This site will die. I'm just gonna say it right now. Especially people be on contracts and shit. That's why I stopped fucking with it years ago. I think from 2015 to 2020, because I had to look at it, the landscape where it was going. I had to come back because of the live stream features. But after that, I realized, man, that shit is trash. Because I already know how people's minds are on here. So, I already know there's other platforms, but but this one I'm just gonna leave it as it is because I don't treat it what it is. I have to drop some pre-records. That's what I'll show them Wednesday. Because the bullshit they was talking about. See, I had pictures and shit, and I talked about shit, and I can't go back to that, man. Like I had a different computer back then. They just look at your shit and don't care. And then I got 1,000 views off of that. Like people don't understand who I am, man. Dude, I've been doing this for a long time, but this is the first time I did the political stuff that I should have done. Could have done 2015 and prior, but I didn't. I had to move on for certain things. So it happens, man. This stuff is nothing more than bullshit to certain people. People get emotional to shit. You gotta look at stuff like that. You gotta look at stuff that what people said. I'm not even mad about that. Like I act like I care about this shit. I really don't. I'm just looking at my shit and say, damn. All them years. I'm just looking at my shit. I'm like, shit, y'all ain't impressing me. Y'all gotta understand something. I didn't care, bro. Like that stuff, I don't care. And I still get views. I don't care about that. What's the worst y'all can throw at me? I've seen better, bro. I've seen better days, but it is what it is. And I'm just looking at it. I'm just looking at it like this. The one thing I can say, I probably won't do this type, and there will never be a part 3 to this. So since when I saw what I saw tonight, I say, you know what, I'm good on that because I know someone's triggered by that, and I'm pissed some people off. But that's all right. Fuck them. But we will be on the political world systems. I will definitely post that. I will do. I'll do a part 3 on that, and we'll hear the convo and things like that. So I'll play a few what we was talking about, subject matter. I mean, we got a little off topic, but we kept in the political rounds. And then I'm gonna bring up, I think, socialism and communism. We're gonna talk about that in conjunction of all the systems that we talked about. And I felt like, wow, this is one of the things that I see a lot that people don't discuss. See, I actually talk about the actual philosophies and then put it together and then read it. There's other books you can talk about it as well. Some people are gonna get upset and be like, all right, this is it, and that's it. So In conclusion of this stream, and I think I can go another hour. Once it hits the 2 hour mark, I'm gonna talk on say in conclusion. It's gonna be a little long one. It's one of those nights. It's one of those nights that people are just pissed at whatever reason, because I know people. I think they celebrate 420, and I think I threw a shot in there. I probably said some shit, but I don't care. I stand on what I say. I really don't care, because I know people don't want to blow their high, right? I don't celebrate that shit. I really don't, because I remember in high school when people talked about it, and it pisses people off. Like, I don't give a fuck, man. I've been here for 10 years. You niggas is losers, bro. That shit damages your brains long term. I say they don't. Yes, it does. Anything can fuck you up, because that shit's not natural. Like, if you got your own place, you don't. But if you can't grow your shit naturally, a lot of synthetic, bro. A lot of people try to say don't smoke the shit. Like I said, it ain't about smoke shit. And he was saying that he's so dumb, that shit can still kill you. Anything can harm you. There's always have labels like that, bro. Anything that you touch, it's not good for you long term. They so dumb. You're not invincible, bro. You're not Superman. Trust me. These people can't function without it. And that just shows you what type of people are. And then when I stop saying, here's the moralist aspect when I'm bringing up, the social contract of weed, right? We're going to bring this up. This is why they don't listen and research. That's why I argue with niggas on this shit. I just do this as actual content. That's what I'm about, and that's it. Y'all want different things, that's it, but people ain't gonna like this subject, and that's the way it is, and I'm gonna kill it. Because when we talk about political or system, they just want to argue the two basics, like the liberal and conservative shit. I'm tired of that, bro. I will kill y'all with facts, reading, pictures, have my viewpoints, but niggas don't want that participate. They just want to argue. They stupid. I hate people like that. That's how I cut niggas off in real life. I ain't got time for that. I don't know y'all like that. Because if you was family, that's different. But if you're a stranger, I ain't gonna fuck with you like that. Because you get destroyed in the debate. I'm not gonna debate idiots on here. I'm telling you, y'all not even worthy. Y'all scared, bro. Y'all not even built like that. Let alone y'all can't stand alone in the debates. I do research. See, I don't debate and scream and yell. I don't do that shit. No, I pull out facts, links, and I body your ass and I get you up out of there. Ain't got time for that. I'm not gonna argue with you for hours. It's not gonna be a long out drawn out. That's what y'all want, but y'all ain't gonna get that from me. Especially when you talk about this subject like contractualism, talk about social contracts. I'll pull out links and books to reference you what's going on. We can use certain current events out here that people's on a social contract. That's all I'm talking about with contractualism. It's just a variation of TM Scandalon's books and his things, his writing, his sources and searches. You do these things, but people ain't gonna listen. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, bro. Like, I laugh at when people try to come at me sideways like that. It's just not gonna work. And I see this all the time, man. I'm not even mad anymore. It's just I'm laughing at the dislikes that I got on this shit. But that's cool. But that shows people show their hand every day, and I'm not even mad. Like, I was laughing at this shit because I knew this was gonna be a bad one because I know it's 420. I know people's pissed off and everything, and you know, and it's on a Wednesday, on a day, and I'm surprised it's on a Wednesday. It usually be on a Friday, every other Friday or something like that. But by association, they don't like my ass, but that's okay, and I'm learning to used to it by now. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna start going in harder. So once I start doing Wednesday streams like I normally do, I'm gonna start talking about. I'm not gonna talk about no dark history streams. I already done that. That didn't get no respect. I'm telling you that right now. I already done said enough. Cause niggas get emotional when I talk about that too. I had to cut that shit off immediately. I did that in pre-records. I already know what I'm gonna get. I already done it. Cause I'm not gonna argue with niggas for years and years out of my own shit. I'm just not doing it. So when we talk about the political stuff, I won't stay with current events and politics as usual. I don't give a fuck what niggas think. Fuck what they think. Because they don't do research. I'm sorry, they just don't. And this is why I don't listen to niggas that are older and stupid as fuck that has an echo chamber. I want to explain that Sunday why you shouldn't listen to them, because they want to be right all the time. I hate motherfuckers like that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves all the time. Now, I ain't saying I'm right. I tell you, do your own research. And I always said this on this channel: do your own research. If you don't like what I'm saying, that's why I dropped those links to give y'all what I'm reading. You know, I read different things. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not gonna read another man's book. And then there's arguments in books too. See, I'm not one of those channels that's not gonna tell you what to hear. Not tell you what to hear. You know, you ain't gonna like my ass. It's a requirement. This is not for everybody. This channel talks about everything. It talks about dark history aspects of our people, the politics, situations, current events, what's going on. That's what I'm about with this channel. This is what this channel has been about. And I've been on these subject matters for the longest. The reason I don't argue with niggas about it, because they ain't got no solution. They're stupid. They love circles, bro. They love circles. That's why I say fuck everybody else. And I mean what I say. And I don't get mad. I just get even, bro. I just get even. That's all I say. I just get even. And niggas kill me with that shit, bro. Like, who the fuck they think they are, man? Like, they don't know me. Like, I'm the last nigga to go against, man. You dumb. Dumb. That's the shit that I've been saying the longest. And it is what it is. And I respect it. I respect people that disagree with me. And I respect that. See, I ain't an echo chamber. Y'all can ask me anything y'all want. Anything y'all want. Y'all can challenge me on any stream. Y'all can challenge me on this stream and ask for the link where I'm reading. Just come confront it. But you got haters like that. But what it is, I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad. I mean, y'all showed y'all hands every time. And that's what it is. I know people can't stand what I'm saying. Like, I get it. I ain't trying to be like these bitch ass niggas on the internet. Fuck them niggas. And I won't say this for the record. They don't talk about social contracts in its proper perspective. Let's just say that. Fuck them niggas. And I mean that. From the bottom of my heart. I totally mean that. Because a lot of you niggas, y'all soft as baby shit. And it goes to show you that I don't do this much political content like that. I love doing it. At least I do the research. See, if I talk about conservatism, I can go back to the streams that I did. If I talk about liberalism, I can talk about what I said in part 2, or actually do research and then do that. That's easy to do, right? And then, on another hand, I'll talk about libertarianism. I already talked about that. It's no need to do part 3s of those two, unless something comes up, and then I'll talk about it and then just put it in a random stream, and I'll do it in the morning, and I'll just build it up. You know what I'm saying? I will do that. But quiet as kept, you see this a lot. So yeah. So I'm about to get off here because I know this is kind of late. So, you know, because I had some problems in the background early in the stream. So, you know, but I'll be back on the 5:30 DTN, what you call it, DTN 5. And we're going to address issues with the Thai City and Ramil. I got some shots on those. Lapeef, of course, and I know niggas gonna hate, but fuck them, because I don't release the shots until like the 30-minute mark. It's a segment. And I believe the segment is kind of it's gonna be entailing. We gotta see what it is. I got a couple of shots in here. So hold on. So we got those in. And we're gonna start from the beginning and things like that. So okay, so how the shots are lined up. I want to see how the shots are lined up. Okay. We're gonna talk about that. Okay, good. Because we're gonna talk about that of that week. And then yeah, we got Lapeef 3 times. Yeah, the Thai City. I didn't get much of that. Y'all can see his video, but it was on private. I don't know if he unprivated it, but I'm gonna put this up here just in case. Because we're gonna deal with that. So with that, I want to say appreciate everybody coming through. As always, I want to say Shalom and peace and blessings, and I'm out.